Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
We're just a fantabulous couple in love that loves reacting to some Fallout.
It's time for Fallout.
Yeah, and so we're checking out Season 3, Episodes 7 and 8. So Necropolis and The Glow. Necropolis looks lovely.
Yeah, I mean, where they left it off, it was very, very ominous.
Yes, for sure. So if you want all of our Fallout reactions, check out the description of this video because we got a playlist there for you. Also have a link to our Patreon, get early ad-free access to our Fallout reactions. We're about a month ahead in our reactions on there. Yep. And because it's Fallout,
we don't have Stimpaks.
No Stimpaks.
Well. So this is our Stimpak spritzer. Why? Because it has a Stimpak. Your ad said Stimpak. Give it a little stir. That usually helps. And then you cheers.
Cheers.
And in case you all couldn't see it, Ken's glass says, "I drink and I know things."
It's true.
From Game of Thrones.
Half of that is true. Okay. Ready?
Ready.
Edna sees something up ahead.
Feral ghouls. 7 of them, heading this way. You take the one on the left.
I think you have them all know exactly where you are now.
Yeah.
You gonna get that?
Sure you're not done showing off? Or did you only bring 6 cartridges?
I'll let you handle this one. Unless that fancy tri-beam ran out of batteries.
I can handle a feral ghoul with my bare hands.
Do it.
And 50 pounds of power armor.
Did I ever tell you about that time Edna and I beat up the entire Legion?
I assume Edna took out most of them?
She's meaner than she looks. Killed all the Legion mongrels before they knew what hit them.
You can step on it now, I guess. I always feel sorry for the ferals. Go crazy, and the only cure is 45 caliber brain surgery.
Oh!
It's rough, even before they go feral. Little perks like living forever don't make up for the rest of it. Some of the first ghouls are still alive today. Been like that for 200 years and haven't gone feral yet. They all wonder if their clock is ticking. Makes them a little cranky. The Vault Dweller ran into a few of the grouchy ones back in 2162. Necropolis. It was called Bakersfield before the war. Not a big town, but big enough to get its own vault. Although Vault 12 was actually one of Vault-Tech's little pranks. It was designed to keep its inhabitants alive through a nuclear war and filter out most of the radiation afterwards.
Most?
You think Vault-Tech planted that as some experiment?
Wouldn't put it past them. Might have wanted to see how a select gene pool reacts to radiation. Or maybe they just thought it'd be funny to make a city full of zombies and see how the rest of society would respond. Even 80 years after the war, people still thought they were ghosts or reanimated corpses.
Folk were mighty superstitious back then.
Now we know that there's a rational scientific explanation for ghouls, even if the Poindexters can't agree on what it is. Radiation, genetics, the forced evolutionary virus. A little of all three? When the Vault Dweller came to Necropolis looking for a water chip, the ghouls weren't concerned with existential inquiries like, why are we here? They were concerned about a group of mysterious mutants that had arrived in town, shot a whole lot of them up, and took over the place.
The first generation of super mutants.
And their unseen master. Last NCR outpost in Nevada. Sure you don't want to rest?
Gotta keep moving. Want to be at the Devil's Throat before sunrise.
Aren't you worried I'll kill you in your sleep if we make camp out in the wilds?
Nope. You promised me you'd help catch this thing I'm chasing. You seem to be like a man of your word.
I could have killed you back there when you were reloading your Sequoia.
And you didn't.
So we trust each other now.
Yep.
My rifle feels a little light.
I put a drained microfusion cell in it back in California. Figured you wouldn't feel the difference with your power armor on.
They all drained, or just that one?
We'll find out if 7 Deathclaws show up.
Wasn't much trust between those mutants and the citizens of Necropolis either. The mutants had come hoping to find a sealed vault with a pure gene pool for their master's experiments. And the ghouls, they just wanted to be left alone. Their leader, Set, wasn't happy. Hard to be when the mutants kill off a lot of your people and then force you to serve them as a watchdog, looking out for normies to abduct. See, the super mutants thought they would find an untouched vault full of those, but only faced ghouls. Set was happy to use the Vault Dweller as cannon fodder against the super mutants to get his revenge and freedom, but he was a bastard, as his son Typhon put it, and was not looking for an equitable exchange. Fortunately, there were some kindlier souls living beneath Necropolis. They helped the Vault Dweller find a way to take the chip and still keep the water flowing in Necropolis. Only problem was, they had to go through the mutant garrison on top of the vault.
I guess even the Vault Dweller wasn't prepared for a squad of giant mutants.
Their memoir didn't go into details about what happened during the fight. Had to be at least half a dozen mutants with pre-war military weapons.
Would have near impossible to get through a fight like that without losing someone.
Ian's sacrifice made sure that they got that damned water chip. Even cleared out the mutants long enough for some of the ghouls to get out of Necropolis. Then his friends brought the chip back to Vault 13, and... oh, no. Things only got worse after that. The Devil's Throat. On the other side is a little road that heads north to I-15. Shaves a few miles off the trip. If we're lucky, we'll be able to catch up to your quarry before they reach Route 70.
I used to look out at this godforsaken hole and think it was the end of the world.
If there's anything I learned from the Vault Dweller's quest for the water chip, is that the wasteland is a much bigger place than it seems.
No, but that is a story for another day.
Yeah, that's the second time they haven't done it. I also am not sure if I trust Helen. I mean, I know they just talk about trust and they trust each other. But once again, Bucky, like when she comes on screen, Bucky like starts barking at her. Always
trust your animals.
Yes. And so I think that he's trying to tell me something and that, like, you know, we should not be trusting Helen. Yeah, something's fishy going on there. Other than that.
I mean, we've started to watch some of our movies for Halloween for Patreon and whatnot. So those are legitimately scary movies. And he's not had any reaction. But we turn on Fallout anytime anymore. And he gets all growly and barky and like ears go up and then the ears go back. And he's just not, he's not happy about it. I know, you get scared. It's okay.
He doesn't want the apocalypse to happen.
Neither do we.
I know. I mean, one, so you got all this radiation poisoning and then like you turn into a ghoul and like that sucks. But then you end up becoming like a slave to the super mutants.
Yeah.
So, man, that's rough. Rough life.
Yeah.
Because now you now have an extended life as a ghoul. So now live longer as a slave. Yeah, great.
I mean, I knew the very name Necropolis is like, it's not going to be a happy, fun place.
Yeah.
But that was really horrific. I'm glad that it kind of balances out between our interactions between the storyteller and Helen and Edna and trying to get a little bit of levity in there. But that was dark. And also, I mean, as Ken and I kind of like exchanged a look, we were really surprised to hear that Bakersfield gets a vault.
Yeah, it's not too far from us.
That's because it's not very far from where we live. So we're like,
really? Bakersfield?
Of all places? They get a vault for one, and then two, like, here is a place in the world very close to our living environment. So like it makes it hit a little bit harder.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, ready for the next part?
Ready.
You ready, Bucky? It's gonna be okay. I'll protect you.
He's already barking. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. Thank you. It's okay. Biting my nose makes you feel better. And kisses. Thank you.
And so the Vault Dweller and their surviving companions returned to Vault 13 with the water chip, and it worked just fine. Apparently, this new chip would work at least another 80 years, It looked like the day had been saved.
Never that easy.
Nope. Vault 13's records say that the Overseer determined that those super mutants from Necropolis were too distinct from humanity to be a random mutation. Someone had to be making them, giving evolution a little nudge in the right direction, mass-producing new species. So the Overseer sent the Vault Dweller back out into the wasteland to stop a whole army of mutants. To do that, they would need more help than Tycho, Katya, and that dog. Back then, there was no hint of your republic. Not a single organization in the world that could stand against the mutant army except...
The followers of the apocalypse?
No. The Brotherhood. Steel. Seems that the big savior of the new California Republic was actually a member of the Brotherhood of Steel. You got a museum where the Vault Dweller's power armor is up on display for all the little NCR tykes to see?
Only reason the Vault Dweller joined you Tin Men was because the Rangers didn't exist yet. Hold up. They've been dead for almost a day. I don't recognize their armor. Some sort of tribal, maybe.
Luddites. Their kind operates north of Legion territory from Arizona through Missouri.
The thing we're chasing could have done this. Stole the clothes to blend in with the locals. Clever.
The thing we're chasing? What are you not telling me?
All you need to know is that we're tracking someone headed east. They're moving a lot faster than we are, and now they're probably dressed like one of these Luddites. Luddite? That's an old-timey word from back when. People that hated science? Kind of the opposite of the Brotherhood way of thinking.
We do enjoy our ray guns.
And back when the Vault Dweller was looking for help with the super mutants, you turned them away because you love your toys more than people.
Back then, the Brotherhood were isolationists. They only dealt with the outside world when trading their guns for food.
Weren't the friendly sort, like you are now? They sent the Vault Dweller on some sort of suicide mission, right?
The Brotherhood guards would send the Rubes on a quest to prove their worth. Told them to go down to Dayglow and return with a pre-war artifact.
Dayglow wasn't a thriving member of the Republic back then. Just a radioactive hole in the ground.
You want to tell this part? Because it sounds like you think you know Brotherhood history better than me.
All right.
Yeah, no one knows history better than him.
Most folk didn't want to trek all the way down to the Glow. The ones that did found the place full of more rads than a body can handle. So no one ever actually completed this little quixotic endeavor.
Until the Vault Dweller showed up carrying a load of shiny pre-war toys. And you nerds couldn't resist. Must have been like Maxon's birthday.
Something like that. The gadgets that the Vault Dweller found deep within the Glow were impressive, but the real treasure was information. A holotape that helped the Brotherhood learn the fate of a lost expedition that never returned from the Glow, of men who broke away from the Founders' Column in 2077 to seek lost technologies and recover them for the benefit of all. Despite what they teach you in the NCR, the Brotherhood does value human life. That's why we keep our technology out of the hands of every yahoo that wants to play dress-up in shiny suit of armor, or go looking for a solar-powered death ray.
Oh!
Even the Vault Dweller had to earn their power armor after becoming an initiate.
Quit yawing. Someone's hiding behind that car up ahead.
It's a Christless highwayman.
Quiet.
It's in good shape, too.
Howdy.
Howdy. Nice car. They say nothing can stop a highwayman.
Thanks. Drove by a pack of them Luddites a couple of nights ago. Got a few spears in her. The railroad spiked right through the fuel cell converter. That stopped her real good.
You had this thing running?
Whoa, well, howdy there, ma'am. Didn't see you there. Yep, had her purring like a kitten for a while. Drove her up here from Nevada.
Never heard of a pre-war car running before.
Some mean son of a bitch at a working highwayman about 40 years ago out in California. I found this one stuck in the mud outside of Vegas. Figured it might be the same one that the... I'm sorry, I didn't get your names.
Helen Tanner, NCR Rangers.
My name is...
Listen, we're kind of... Anyone pass by on this road while you've been out here?
One of them Luddites ran by yesterday. Didn't pay me no mind at that time. Didn't have his buddies with him.
That's our guy. Double time it.
I like
you
that.
folks have a nice day now.
We were gonna learn his name for
You
the
know,
first time.
I can tell you that story about the highwaymen in California.
How do you run and blather at the same time?
It's like a marching cadence. Keeps my breathing regular. I don't know, but I've been told Elder Maxon's mighty old.
Stop. Fine, go back to that story about how the Vault Dweller joined you lunatics.
Sorry, but that is a story for another day.
Nice.
Sound off.
Again. That was fun.
That was fun.
I'm glad that, still don't trust Helen, just because Bucky doesn't trust Helen.
He really is having issues with Fallout.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems like more of the plot is unfolding here.
Yep. Yeah.
And I just, I said it when we were watching it, but I really loved that moment when he was going to say his name and then cut him off. Like, it made me think of Home Improvement, where the neighbor Wilson, like, they always find a way to, like, mask his...
Cut off his face.
Yeah, cut off his face.
Yep. I am enjoying the stories, but I find myself just so much more invested right now in the Storyteller, because I can talk, and Helen now and their exchanges and like you said, trying to figure out where are we with Helen right now. I mean, I think there's a part of me that just naturally doesn't trust anybody, because I think in the world of the nuclear apocalypse, like, you can't trust anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
But I like their exchanges, and she's got a great name, Helen Tanner. So I don't know. I mean, I don't trust her, but, like, I want us to get to a point where we can, but I don't know if we will. Yeah,
I will say that I agree with you. Like, I'm not as invested in the stories that the lore that he's telling right now, because I am a little bit more wrapped up in the story itself of, like, him and Helen, and I kind of wonder, like, I wonder if, like, if this has another season after this, if they kind of, like, drop the lore a little bit and they start to go more into the story itself.
Yeah.
Because, like, it feels like they're holding themselves back, and they're only doing this because, it's like, oh, people came here for the lore, so if we change it up too much, then people won't watch.
Yeah, part of me thinks there's an element to this which is really smart, because once you go through the lore of Fallout, if you want the series to continue, we should be invested in somebody at least. So by pivoting to bringing the storyteller on screen instead of just being a voice, and now making us invested in his journey, and in Edna, really.
Yeah.
They are, the creators are giving themselves runway to work with.
Let us know what you thought about this down below in the comments. And if you want early ad-free access to our Fallout reactions, check out the description of this video. We got a link to our Patreon there, and a playlist for all of our Fallout reactions here on YouTube.
Yep.
Thanks so much for checking out our reaction for Fallout Season 3, Episodes 7 and 8, but just keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.
Yeah, is that so bad?
Yeah, Daddy, it's scary.
Is it so bad?
Fallout's so scary.